Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Something to Do with Pete and Will. We promise it's something to do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's Something to Do. And I promise it's something to do. And again, I have my very close friend, Robbie Cole. And Robbie, I wanted to tell you, my daughter had gone out with her friends, and she said, my dad has a very big celebrity friend. And so, given the story, I thought, well, I've met very big celebrities. And she's like, his name's Robbie.
Oh.
She said Robbie. So, you're a big deal.
Well, the more important thing is that your daughter is figuring out at an early age. Drop those names. Name dropping around town is going to get you far.
Name dropping Robbie Cole.
Oh, yeah.
You're going straight to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're on a hit show, so
There you go. Yeah.
you have to have both of those things go hand in hand.
Yeah. It's like he's on a top podcast.
Yeah. We're a smash success.
Oh yeah.
So what's going on with you?
Oh, nothing much. I don't know when this is going to air, but
Tuesday.
All right. Well, by then it will be over. But I will say I hope everybody had a very nice Hanukkah.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So how do you celebrate? And what you had talked about one of your friends. You tell the story.
So celebrate, I don't really like. It never, like, growing up, it was never a thing. Like, we were very much a Christmas household, you know. Because I was just like thing that was like, Jewish is just sort of there by history, but like not by any sort of like practicing in any way. And so I'm like Jewish and Mexican, Jewish and Catholic, practice neither in the household. I remember being a kid, we got dragged to like Catholic church on Christmas and Easter until I was about like 7. And then I was like, do we have to do this? My mom was like, I don't want to do this.
She's like, I was doing it for you.
I was doing it for you guys. And then I remember,
I've got other things to do.
Yeah, I remember going to like temple once, and so just like, oh, you should like connect with your heritage as a kid. And my dad was straight up like, all right, I'll wait outside. I was like, what? Like, I'm not going in there.
He's in the car.
Yeah, so we were very much just a nothing family. So,
well, that's not true. You had a wonderful family.
Yeah,
they're fine, and all those wonderful things to say to qualify.
Yeah, I should qualify. But in college, I got a little more into like finding my Judaism or whatever, and so I did a little stuff there. But now, like, I had a menorah. I had 2 menorahs actually, and then I had a roommate who he had 1, and then I had 2, and he moved out, and they're all gone. So I think he just took them all.
Why?
Which is like, I don't want to get into.
You know how ironic that is.
Stereotypes here, but.
By the way, this is brought to you by water and whatever it is he's drinking.
Oh,
and
that would be the Signature Select Diet Cola soda. When you're looking for the best Diet Cola bang for your buck, just look for that signature.
We wait for the sponsors till the end.
Yeah. Oh.
They're really knocking at the door.
It would be really tacky to just start plugging things mid show. It is a
Uh,
funny thing from doing like commercials
uh,
so often that I've now subconsciously hold things like label out.
they didn't even make it label out, and I just held it
Yeah,
label.
yeah. God, it's so weird. It's this
Uh,
is
that's
everything, and you just notice it now. Like I love every TV show.
yeah, of course.
They're just
Yeah.
product placement is weird to me because when it's blatant, it's distracting. But when like they use fake products, I feel that's more distracting.
Well, because it won't say Bud Light, it'll say Bud Less or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
but it's
They'll make
essentially
it
the same.
similar. I love there was on like do you ever watch the cooking show Good Eats with Alton Brown? It was like
Mm-mm.
a decade and a half ago. It was like the best show on Food Network because it was like
Okay.
I loved it because it was like Alton Brown. He's a great chef and he's like a scientist chef kind of guy. So each episode was like, I'm gonna teach you a couple dishes, but he was like, let's break down on a molecular level what's happening when you're cooking, right?
Sure.
And it was also just funny. They like each episode was essentially like a weird scripted narrative. There was like a plot going through it, but they had a person whose job it was just to replicate logos, but so they were close enough to the product, but not. And I was like, that's a fun job for a graphic designer.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, with
The
product placement, when
product placement is such a big deal. And what's interesting is, most people, well, I wouldn't say most people. I don't want to generalize, but you watch a movie, and in the scene they're smoking a cigarette, and then in 1 second the cigarette's almost finished, and the second
yeah,
it's full, and that kind of stuff that aggravates me.
oh yeah, continuity stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also smoking cigarettes on a set is the worst because you don't use real cigarettes.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, these fake herbal cigarettes, and I did a couple days on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I had to smoke a cigarette because I was like this hippie, and every at the start of the take, I was lighting up a cigarette and taking a deep drag, and then they must have, you know, 17 takes.
Well, and those herbal cigarettes, and it's not marijuana or anything. It
Yeah,
literally
it's
is
like
just
catnip.
grass.
Yeah, it's like
You're
it's disgusting.
they're disgusting.
And they burn so fast that each time I was having to do a new one. So I went through like on that 4 days, I went through like 20 packs of fake cigarettes. And it made me sick. Like I had to
Well, because it's still smoke. I
I
mean,
literally had
there's
to sub in some real cigarettes every now and then just to take a break. Just like good, clean, smooth tobacco.
yeah. Does anybody have a cigar? Can I
Yeah.
do something
I
that's actually real here?
I always thought it'd be funny if someone got addicted to the fake cigarettes.
That's
So
that
it's
is
like
actually funny.
it's like, hold on, I gotta stop by a prop house in Burbank. I'm jonesing.
I got to get the kale cigarette.
Oh man,
Uh,
I'm surprised they haven't made a kale cigarette. That's like that's the most it's the most Silver Lake, LA thing. Those not here. That's where like all the ridiculous hipster kids live.
yeah, exactly. And at the base of it, it's just a piece of an apple. So you
Yeah.
get like an apple taste. Oh, that's really funny. So what else is going on?
No, you're
Did
freezing
did,
up on me.
did you get
Oh, nothing much.
the commercial?
No. I
Oh.
got it was between me.
Well, let's
I
just
was like
stop this
on a
here then.
meal.
I mean, I was trying to talk to a celebrity. My daughter thinks
Ah,
you're kind of a
yes.
big deal.
Sorry.
So,
I guess I'm probably your second most famous friend.
oh
It's
goodness
me,
gracious.
and it's Joe Piscopo.
Can you get Joe? That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. Can we
Jazz
get Joe for the
hands.
podcast?
Yeah.
No, he's working a lot right now at a Kroger. No, we love Joe Piscopo. The official stance of this podcast: Joe Piscopo, top 5 SNL cast member.
It's so funny you said Kroger. I've got a buddy who works at a Kroger. So we talk about all the ridiculous things that happen over there. You have 80-year-olds come in and returning bananas and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Like those are 69 cents. What do
yeah,
you? I mean, just toss them.
yeah. Well, he took the time to write a check for 69 cents to buy that banana, so
Exactly.
he needs to. That's time that he'll never get back. And at this point, he doesn't have a lot of time left.
Do you want that in change? Because we have a 50%
Yeah,
payback rate.
yeah.
So
We can
what's
give you store credit.
uh, that's actually really funny to me. Um, what do I have written down here? I've got so many things. One of the most interesting, I think, is I work for the WNBA, and I also work for the NBA, and so we do locker room interviews after the fact.
Yeah.
And what kind of made everything cyclical was the fact that women would have to come into the locker room during the men's interviews. And as a man going into the women's locker room was really uncomfortable. So I could kind of see where they were coming from if they were, if they were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I'd walk in the WNBA locker room and they're just walking around, you know, I won't use any cliche, but I couldn't have been more uncomfortable because you're having a conversation with somebody who's, they're trying to dress and things like that, and they don't care.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of just take all of that and just be totally professional. Well, of course. I mean, that's what we're there to do is talk about the game.
Yeah.
But that was a tough one for me.
Because professionalism, number one, but a close number two, just being a big old creep.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I averted my eyes and we'd have the conversation and
my name's Peter. My friends call me Big Meat Pete.
Don't say that.
I guess my last question is, what are you doing after this?
Nobody calls me Big Meat Pete. And Antoine, cut that out.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's a great nickname.
Oh, it's so stupid.
I was out the other day. It got super foggy out here. It was so foggy, like you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
I was walking down to the corner to meet up with a friend at this place by my house. And in the 5-minute walk, my hair, because of the moisture, just went like to the point where he was like, "Oh, did you get a haircut?" And I was like, "No, it's just very." And then I came up with, I love a good nickname. I think nicknames are.
I do too.
Incredible. And he came up with a nickname that, like, jokingly, but I think we'll use amongst ourselves. But he's like, "Oh, your hair just like constricts down." It's just like steel wool. I was like, steel wool is a badass nickname.
Yeah.
Just like it's like could be like a wrestler name or a boxer name. Like making his way to the ring, Robbie Steel Wool Cole.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic.
I hate when people try to give themselves a nickname though.
No.
Like
you can't give yourself a nickname.
Like when Kobe Bryant was just like, I'm the Black Mamba.
Oh, he gave himself
He
that?
gave himself that nickname.
Oh, I didn't know that. And
Yeah,
it might be too soon for.
that's probably the worst thing he's ever done.
Well, this is way too soon.
Okay, okay.
For any of that. Uh,
No, I remember the day.
Bless his heart. God rest his soul.
Yeah, it's interesting because I never liked Kobe, but only just from a basketball perspective because I'm a Warriors fan and we were
Mm.
terrible for so long, and he was great and the Lakers were winning all these championships. So from that perspective, I never liked him. And then he had some off the court stuff that we don't have to get into. But I remember when he passed, I was walking down to it was pandemic, and I was uh, going to the Rite Aid to pick up some stuff, and like the city was like a pall was cast over the city. Like I
Mm-hmm.
ran into a friend at the Rite Aid who was like in like crying and was just like
Mm.
I don't know what to do. And you had people not in LA who were like day of still just being like, oh well, all these things he did, and it's like chill, he literally died today. Like maybe all those feelings you have, you can like keep them to yourself for right now,
Mm-hmm.
because people contain multitudes. And and I have a friend who was like, I was conflicted about him, but I'm still incredibly sad because he meant so much for this city. And I was like,
Well, it's
yeah.
such a tragedy. Like,
And exactly. And like I remember some comic who I don't care for, whose name I won't say, made like a joke the day of, because like comics always try to be like edgy, and he just got like destroyed.
yeah.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, good, you know?
Yeah, you have to give a little distance
Exactly.
uh,
Like,
to levity in that situation.
yeah. And that, it was literally like still breaking news. Like everyone always just wants to be first. And they're like, I'll think of the best joke later, but I just want to be first now. And it's like, well, you're an a-hole.
Yeah, exactly. There's been times, and it's all whoever's individual perspective on all this stuff, but you you'll hear about things, and having a comedic mind,
Yeah.
you kind of write the comedic aspect of it, and that's a defense mechanism in order
Yeah.
for you to kind of deal with whatever it was that happened. Um, but for most people, they can't imbibe that.
Yeah.
They're just immediately offended.
Yeah. I did one after an athlete died, and I felt okay with it because I thought it was like, because also this other comic was just like, it was mean spirited. And like, that's the definite no go. But I remember after
Mm-hmm.
Arnold Palmer, the golfer, passed away, I was just like, Arnold Palmer finishes the day 6 under. And that's just a golf joke.
Well, that's my I do all these tombstone jokes.
Mm,
Like this is what I'm gonna put on my tombstone and all those things. Like I'm with stupid, and there's an
yeah.
arrow
Yeah.
pointing to whoever is
Some
laying next
poor,
to me.
some poor World War II veteran,
Right.
like beloved grandfather, and you're just like, ooh, guy's dumb.
uh,
I
that's
choked on a chicken bone, but this guy's an idiot.
that stuff's so funny to me. I don't know why, but yeah.
But going back to the WNBA, I
Mm.
love how many dudes like who just play pickup basketball at the 24-hour fitness think that they could take a WNBA player one on one.
They
Like
can't.
you would be destroyed.
They're they are amazing women. And
They are
they're
the top 1% in the world at what they do.
yeah. I mean they're amazing at playing basketball. And I covered the Sparks,
Mm.
and watching them play is really amazing. Like they are so talented.
I remember, so Becky Hammond is a assistant coach for the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably going to be the first woman to get a head coaching job.
Okay.
And when she first got the job, there were some players, and the Spurs were the best team. This is now a basketball podcast. The Spurs are the best team because the culture of Greg Popovich was just very much like, very progressive.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a couple players who were like, I don't know, this broad being my coach. So she was like, all right, let's you and me, let's go. Let's just like shoot threes.
And schooled them.
And she just schooled them all.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's an amazing league, and the women that play there are just incredible at what they're doing.
It's wild to me that, like, the money is, I mean, it's decent, but comparative to other professional
It's
athletes.
just a fraction.
So a lot of players, the top players, the WNBA is their second job. So they'll play like in
Right.
Russia or in Europe, and they'll make 4 times as much money. And they'll
Mhm.
come here and just be like, all right, this is like supplemental income being in the top women's league in the United States.
Yeah, and that's a very difficult thing to unpack for
Yeah.
sure.
Welcome to our gender wealth disparity podcast. I'm Robbie Cole.
But
And
it's
as always by
the way
my
you're
co-host, Big Meter Peter.
uh,
This is basketball talk with Steel Wool.
well, I'd rather my nickname than another maybe, but
It's a great nickname.
yeah, it's funny that you came up with that. My other friends call me Smiling Pete, which ironically during this I do a lot of smiling because it's funny and I enjoy this and I'm
No.
having fun and I'm certainly having fun with you, my friend.
No.
But I don't smile that often, so
Yeah.
I'm Smiling Pete.
It's an ironic nickname because Peter
It's
is
ironic.
dead inside.
Exactly. Oh, you made me clap. That was funny.
You have your Christmas setup going at the Osterhaus.
Yeah, we've got the train uh, and the tree and all that going. Oh, you got to come over and check it out.
Yeah, man, I'll swing by.
Um, going to my notes. This guy was talking to change to take a complete left turn.
All right.
This guy I was talking to, he said he was drinking peanut butter moonshine and broke his foot in a gopher hole.
All right. Let me guess the state.
This is what happened to him.
Let me guess the state.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna this is screaming. This is screaming.
It's a tough one.
This screams not south, but like southeast. Am I close?
Southeast.
Like coastal, like could be like a Carolina, Virginia.
I'm from Virginia.
I know. And it's you. You're the guy, I'm sure.
No, it wasn't me. This happened like 2 weeks ago.
If we pan down, you got your foot still in a cast.
Well, people that watch this show know that I always have some sort of
Moonshine related injury.
malliance. But no, I think it was Indiana.
All right. Because also moonshine, very like southern.
Oh, that's true.
And peanut, I was like peanuts and moonshine. I'm like, oh, that's Georgia, baby. You ever have boiled peanuts?
I didn't write down where he was from.
Ah,
Oh, shoot.
we'll get our research department on that.
Well, anyway, he had to have pins put in every one of his toes.
I also love like if this were California, he had pins in every one of his toes as an acupuncture treatment.
Yeah. No, they had to completely restructure his foot. And I don't mean to laugh. And if you're listening, uh, I'm very empathetic to the things that have happened to you, but peanut butter moonshine probably isn't a great idea.
Yeah.
They, he said they got it up to like 190 proof at some point,
Oof.
and they got it down to like 110. And I just listened. I'm like, oh,
Peanut butter
that's
moonshine. Yeah, the
that's the whole thing.
flavored, all
Well,
the
because I
flavor.
had moonshine in Alabama,
Hmm.
and it tastes like cherry, and so you just have a couple cherry shots because they soak it in cherries and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Um, and so it doesn't taste like what it
like
actually is.
yeah,
And in some cases, it's kerosene. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's flammable.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, my dad told me when he was in the army, when he was stationed in like I don't know if it was Savannah, it was somewhere in Georgia, but they'd go to this bar. They had a special drink called Gator Juice, which was basically just um, like grain alcohol and green food coloring. And you would just get like it was in a punch bowl, and it was $1 to get a
A swig. Yeah. I mean, growing up, yeah, being where we're from, that I would not me personally, but people would cut a hole in a watermelon and just put a bottle of vodka or a
Oh,
bottle of grain alcohol in
oh
it,
yeah.
and then just soak it. And then you just eat the watermelon, and you're like, "Hi, this is insanity."
We did that when I was in college. We did that once. We went to the grocery store and we got a bottle of vodka and a watermelon. Oh, got a little dark. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We got the vodka. We got the watermelon. We went in the back of the grocery store. We cut the hole. We soaked it up. We put the sticker over it, and then we just paid for the watermelon. It's like, oh, this is a juicy watermelon. It's heavier than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, yep. So they went. I'm sure they went in the back in the employee area, and there was an empty bottle of vodka. Somebody got fired. I'm sure. Sorry about that. Oh man, I remember.
Sorry, Dale.
Yeah, in college, going to like
That's
a college.
my favorite comedic name.
Dale. Mine is
And those Dales that are listening, you guys are wonderful and all those things, but it's for some reason a very wonderful name for me.
my favorite name like that for comedic purposes is always Gary,
Gary.
and it's just like so. I did like there's a free comedy tip
uh,
um from improv is that specificity always adds humor.
uh-huh.
So like doing like improv UCB stuff, if you're in a
Mhm.
scene, just give someone a name. And sometimes even the fact of like giving someone a name becomes funny.
Well, yeah, you're like, hey, Janice walked over here and did this, and
Yeah.
you're like, Janice, that's funny.
Yeah. And it's always
That
that
person
derisive,
exists.
always that derisive, like, shut up, Gary.
Hey,
I don't think
Janice, get off my lawn.
yeah. I don't think I've ever met a Gary in real life. But
I don't know that I have either. I have met one Dale, and it was when I was very young.
yeah.
It was before I was 10.
Dale
And
sounds like a guy who would drink peanut butter moonshine and get pins in his foot for falling on a gopher hole.
and then share it with Carl.
Yeah. Yeah. But all these flavored vodkas are getting out of hand. You see, Arby's released some vodka.
Who?
Arby's, the
No.
fast food chain.
They release vodka?
Yeah, special edition, 2 vodkas, a French fry flavor and a curly fry flavor.
Why would you drink that?
Well, I won't because they sold out before I could buy some.
I would if you had it. Look, I quit unless you've got some.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's we used to make when I was also like younger in college, we would get Everclear
Yeah. Oh,
and
geez.
soak it with Twizzlers,
Yeah.
and it would get this like really bright red color. You'd soak it for like a couple days, strain it, and then cut it with water so it was palatable. And it was like very refreshing. It was sweet, but then you mix it with like Sprite, so it was basically
Why
like
would you even think to do that?
oh man, the
Brought to you by Liquid Death
look for that signature.
and Diet Cola.
I also love Diet Cola soda. I don't know, like they needed to clarify, but yeah, we mix and then you like get this. We call it like a licorice liqueur, uh, Quiz Quizlicello.
In order, in order to get your friends to try it, you're like, hey, this stuff is great.
But like you would mix it with Sprite, and it was like very refreshing. It was like a Shirley Temple esque
With kerosene.
with kerosene. Yeah.
That's funny. The first time I had scotch when I was younger, I was like, that tastes like hairspray.
Mm,
Because it wasn't a good scotch.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I
Yeah.
better just keep it this, apparently.
I remember going to a bar on like a date with a girl, and there was these like three like older gentlemen, like I would guess like 60s,
Yeah.
and they were all just like doing shooters of like so me and this girl were both drinking just like bourbon neat,
Yeah.
and these three men in their 60s were doing like shooters of like peanut butter. It was like that peanut butter like whiskey with raspberry liqueur, so
Oh,
it tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
yeah.
And it cuts to these two young people in the corner just drinking whiskey neat,
Yeah.
well, of course. Like it's like I think we mixed up our orders here.
Yeah. Exactly. Can I get a peanut butter shooter with, well, all the names of those shots that are
Yeah.
inappropriate?
Yeah.
And the girls are, just like, no, I'd like a Maker's Mark,
Yeah.
neat, small
Yeah.
ice cube.
I get just a drop of mineral water to express the natural. And they're just like, give us Cosmos shots. Funny bartending. People will come up to me. And like I said, I like bartending because like you can be a jerk to people and they just
Yeah.
have to take it because they need their medicine.
Uh-huh.
And just like, oh, could I get a Cosmo? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a time machine to 2002.
Did you just order a Long Island iced tea? I'll
Uh,
see you in 15 minutes.
yeah. I have so many people who try to order. There's a drink called the Adios Mother Effer. I can
Uh-huh.
curse. Adios motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's basically just a blue Long Island.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, we're an upscale like bourbon bar. We don't have blue drinks.
They're like, you don't have the Windex with the we talked about this on the other episode. What is it? What's that horrible wine? What was it?
As quickly as possible, but
Uh,
just drink whiskey like an adult.
yeah. Now, what was it called? Mad Dog 2020?
Yeah.
And they had a blue Hawaiian that looked like Windex.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, can I get a Mad Dog 2020 blue Hawaiian and then some vodka in that?
Yeah.
Like, no. Are you serious?
I remember like
Each shot is $25.
yeah. I remember being younger and like thinking it'd be funny as a prank to like empty a Windex bottle, fill it with like a blue drink, and then like in front of your friends like drink the Windex, and it's like oh, and I realized like probably be better off just drinking the Windex.
Yeah, exactly. Because Blue Dog, that
Yeah.
stuff is. I mean, unless they want to be a sponsor,
Yeah.
it's.
We used to do white trash mimosas, which was the cheapest sparkling wine possible. And instead of orange juice, it was orange Mad Dog 2020.
Oh gosh,
Oh yeah.
it got you there, which is weird.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
I don't know what was in that stuff.
I came of age in college when they introduced Four Loco.
Oh yeah, didn't they ban that?
They did.
Why?
People died.
From what?
Well, because it was, if you don't remember, something, Four Loco was like
Mm-mm.
a super, it was like malt liquor, but a pretty high percentage, but mixed with energy drink.
So
And
why did people die? Like, what was the deal with that?
basically it was like a
They
poor
had
man.
12 of them.
Well, yeah, and it goes down. Well, I mean, the first one's awful, but the second one goes down smooth. But it's just like it's a poor man's speedball, you know.
Oh
There's like a
my
lot of like
gosh,
you had like college kids having like heart attacks.
that's not funny. I'm
It's
not
not.
laughing at that having had happened. Um, I, I don't know. I just never had a four logo, so I don't know.
I dated this girl um, from Bowling Green, Ohio, and she used to freeze them, but they wouldn't freeze because of all the alcohol content. And then you just cut it open with like a knife, and they become
Cut the can.
cut the can open, and then it's like just like this alcoholic slushy,
Yeah.
and it was that tasted vaguely of kerosene. Oh, I went to this. I love that this is now just an alcohol podcast.
We went from basketball to alcohol pretty quick.
Yeah, I
And
went to
we're both drinking water and
yeah,
a diet soda.
and I'm sober currently, but
Yeah.
it's fun to look back and reminisce. I was in Florida doing like some comedy shows, and
Mm,
it was in Miami, and I went to a Johnny Rockets, like just to
mhm.
get like a burger,
Sure.
and they had a slushy machine that had 151.5 proof slushies. And
What?
I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, we have to try that. And it was disgusting as it sounds. And I was like, we ordered it almost as a joke. And then it's like, we're gonna like, all right, we had like a quarter of it. And I was like, that's enough. So we're like closing out. And I was like, oh, hold on. And he pours it in a to-go container because you can take it to go there.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know where you're going, but you
Yeah,
don't want to
with
lose your
this
booze.
awful concoction. Yeah.
Oh, that's
No, we're
brutal.
good.
Well, when I lived
I
in
also
Florida, they had drive-through.
mhm.
You could drive through and get booze, and they put a straw in it, and then
Mhm.
but they leave
The paper on top.
the paper on the top.
Yeah. And they're like, don't drink this. We're gonna give this to you in your car, but don't drink it while you're driving.
In retrospect, I mean, this is 25 years ago or 30 years ago, but in retrospect, that's absolutely insane.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're handing them.
Yeah.
What do you think they're gonna
I
go
love
do
that
with it?
a tiny piece of paper is what keeps it from being an open container.
Yeah, exactly. Where's that piece of paper?
Yeah.
I'll put it back on.
Yeah. All right, get out of here.
Yeah. All right. You're all good.
No. Uh, Wild stuff.
Yeah.
There's this other, and this is we'll wrap up our nostalgic alcoholism.
Yes.
Um,
Well, I'll change the topic really quickly if you're trying to scoot.
well, I was in Fort Lauderdale at
Uh huh.
the Improv there at the Hard Rock, and outside of it there was a bar that just was the alcoholic slushy machines. Whoop, whoop. And there was a bunch of different flavors,
Yeah.
and like the girls who worked there were like wore bikinis, and it's just like super crowded because it was like the big casino and all these other little like restaurants and shops, and it was just like jam packed. And I was there for like Thursday through Sunday, So I was like getting to know some of these gals, and they were like, "Yeah, on like a Friday, I'll make like $500 a night,
In
and all
tips, yeah.
tips, and all her bartending was just this. Like, there you go. Sometimes she would have to like mix two together, and I was like, "What? What's rent in Fort Lauderdale?" And she's like, "Oh, I make my rent in one night."
That's insane.
I'm like, ah, must be
Uh,
nice.
that's funny. I was gonna bring up because you play baseball
Yes,
to have a zero transition to this, which is
yes,
it's zero transition Tuesday.
oh yes.
Um, but you were actually a very good baseball player, and um, and you know you played for
Oh, college, San Jose State, Cabrillo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But no, I
I
played for the love of the game, Peter.
I wanted to give it to you
Ah,
because that's where the joke lands.
yeah.
Uh, and it also lands with I played softball against Malcolm in the Middle and all the like sitcoms when I was uh, working for one of these studios, and so I'm I'm in
Was
the
like the
outfield.
full was like the full cast. Was Bryan Cranston there?
Everybody was there, yeah.
All right.
Um, and so I'm playing in the outfield, and a smaller fella gets up and pitches, cranks it way over my head. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a full home run because I came in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, come in, come in.
Yeah.
And so I came in, just gone.
Ah, the
Turns
Frankie
out
Moon
he,
disrespect.
well, no, it was his stand-in. this guy, this guy was, he, he, he was yoked, but I couldn't see it from where I was
Yeah.
standing, right over my head. And so we play with all these different shows, and that happened to me too often. Where I
Yeah.
thought it was the child actor,
Yeah.
and right over my head.
He was the
So
26-year-old stand-in who's
just his
when he's
type.
when they don't need him on set, he's just doing push-ups, just
So
working out all that anger of like, how come I'm not the star?
right. So I played against all those, like Everybody Loves Raymond and all those shows. Uh, and I'd look and be like, all right, move in. So
Yeah.
everybody moves in, and then it's right over my head. I'm like, that's a full grown man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
I played a softball game not too long ago. The job I work at was doing against a other job near us, like,
Sure.
and it's just for fun and like like I don't take anything seriously. Like there's no scouts here at this like friendly co-ed softball game.
Yeah,
Some
but you're
people take it seriously.
good. Like it comes out like that you're good. I mean,
But the other team was just like they trounced us
Oh,
because
really?
oh yeah, because like I did well. I had a buddy who played like collegiate hockey,
Uh huh.
and he did really well. But we had a lot of like there was a girl on my team who hit the ball, like just dribbled to like the pitcher, ran to third base, like didn't know the direction you were supposed to run. And then their team was full of girls who were like, "Oh yeah, I was a full ride scholarship D1 softball at Florida State." It's like, cool, cool. This is gonna be great.
Wait, you're saying hit the ball? You ran a third?
Yeah, she ran to third.
Oh, she. Uh, like, I guess it counts. I mean,
Yeah.
Who really cares?
Yeah, you're getting your steps in. That's all that matters.
my my worst softball story is my godfather came out to play with us. We were in a league softball, whatever, and he came out to play. But he's 70 years old at that time. He's almost 80 now, and he cranks it. But on his run to first, he just completely collapses. Blood everywhere. I mean, he hit every part of his body you can hit. So my wife and his wife and my godmother, they had gone out to the mall that's nearby, and they come back, and he's on my shoulder, just bleeding from every orifice. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
He went to first like he was 12 years old. I felt so bad. Even now, he brings it up. He'll be like, and he's being facetious, but he's like, yeah, my knee's not been the same since that softball game. I was like, I didn't tell you to gun it.
Yeah,
I gave you no instruction. You just decided that you were going to take the trajectory that you took.
you like it when a player leaves it all on the field.
And he almost did.
Yeah,
like I ran out there thinking, please get up. You're that was a tough fall. I mean, he had. I mean, it was his face, his knees, his elbows, everything.
I remember the last time I threw like a real pitch. I used to sit like mid 80s, and I was in 2017, and I was at like Petco Park in San Diego, and they had one of those like, oh, speed gun. See how fast you can throw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wearing like a suit. So like I take off my suit jacket, but it's still and I'm not like an a-hole who wears a suit to a baseball game. It was I need to clarify. It was the World Baseball Classic. So it was like USA versus, I think that game was USA versus Dominican Republic. So I had like American flag suit. It was costume. It wasn't, I'm not just like, oh, I just got off work, I'm gonna go catch a ball game. And they're
not gonna have you throw out the pitch.
Yeah. So I'm in line for this thing, and like you get like 5 throws, and no warm-ups. Like, I don't need to stretch. And I go, no mound, just flat. And I do the first pitch, and I just go, bam. And it's like 62. And I'm like, all right, good first pitch, getting up there. And right after I throw that first pitch, from my elbow to my fingers just goes numb.
No.
I'm just like, oh, right, I'm old now.
Yeah. Let me just kind of work this thing out for a second.
And I get another one, and I'm there with my lady, and I'm just like, you know what? There's a bunch of kids here. Hey, kids, how about you each get a throw? I'm a nice guy.
I'll give you my next 3 throws.
Yeah. Let's get these kids in here. It's a kids game. And I'm walking back to our seats, just like, get back. I'm like trying to hold my soda, and it's just like,
do you guys smell toast?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm going down.
I just take a nap. I need to take a nap.
Yeah. Don't joke. Oh, well, that was a great episode. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and it's wonderful having you back, and I'd like to have you back a lot more.
Yeah, buddy. And I want to come by and see your Christmas setup.
Yeah, come by and check it out. It's lackluster, but, like this show, manage your expectations.
I expect nothing less.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I say I expect nothing more.
Exactly. Well, if this is what we're going for, we nailed it. Thanks so much.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Take it easy.